Alrighty, it is 6:15. We're going to call this utility committee meeting to order. Welcome everybody for coming out. I'm going to do a roll call. It's going to be a little light.
We don't have a quorum.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, so we can't call it to order. Sorry.
Okay. So
Sorry.
then this is just going to be for informational purposes for the public and for others of the utility committee to go back on later if they need to. So with that, do we,
I'm here.
We just start going through the information.
Yeah, just go
Yeah.
through.
So since we're kind of off script, we do have Matt here with Viking Tank. And I know I had sent those contracts out in advance for you all to hopefully have a chance to look over. Since Matt is here, if you guys have questions, I would recommend that maybe you guys address that first.
okay,
That way if he needs to get on the road, he could.
okay. Do you have any questions for him specifically over the contracts?
Let me find them here.
Yeah.
32. So I had a staff summary that I included in your packet. Kind of goes over the details of it. So the basic gist of it is that there's a separate contract for each of the water towers. We would start with the industrial park water tower. So as soon as completion of the new water tower is done, then we would start rehab on that tower. Included in your packet was also the price sheet.
Yeah.
So I've got it broken down here also in the staff summary for amounts. Yeah, we've talked about this before in utility committee a couple of times. So I would say if you guys have questions for Matt, or Matt, if you have anything you'd like to address with the committee members.
No, the one question I was going to ask, so this, with the water tower maintenance, that includes the painting of these, the
Yes.
repainting over that. Now, that doesn't include the initial painting of the new tower that's happening.
Correct, that's part of the contract to build it.
Yeah, that was the one thing I was kind of curious on.
Yeah.
Because we were saying we were starting with the industrial park water tower versus the
Yes.
new one.
Yeah.
Which
No, that
shouldn't
painting-
require maintenance. like
Gotcha, right,
preventative maintenance, but-
right,
But by
Okay.
the time we're done with the cycle,
Yeah,
the
it
new
should.
one.
right.
Right.
Okay.
But it even brings the new one on right away, right? Starting year one? Did I misunderstand that?
Yeah, it does. It brings it on in year one.
That's what I thought for maintenance.
So the way the maintenance program works is we need to start, building up the pot to take care of future renovations. So as soon as coatings go on, we need to start allocating funds towards the next recoat.
Right.
So,
Yeah, and it includes the regular inspections on it every year, all of that is
Yeah.
included.
yeah, so it's actually what I called the hospital
Right.
tower right there. They actually come on at 27, the fees do. We just added a little bit because we want to be a part of the inspections out there to make sure. I was out before I came here and made sure, the paint was obviously what you guys want on it and just things like that. But, obviously since we're inheriting somebody else's work, we want to be a part of the inspection process, making sure that you're going to get a good product, and we are too.
Right. No, like, when I was taking a look at that, it was pretty straightforward. It was
Good.
easy to kind of understand. I appreciate you guys putting the work in for making it easy for the layman,
That was Matt.
so.
Well,
Yeah.
it's been a long process. I think we're well over a year, and
Yeah,
we kind of developed this with staff input, and, hats off to the crew that you guys have. It was an easy process for me to work with staff, and we're looking forward to a good partnership out of it.
yeah.
Any more questions?
I really don't. It was,
Okay.
yeah, like, between this and the document you provided in the packet, it was pretty
Okay,
easy
good.
to read. I expected it to be like 300 pages. So I was happy that it was like 40 to 50 or
Right,
something like
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I often joke that, whenever you get a new cell phone provider, there's a ton of
Right,
documents to
right.
read. And
Right.
a lot of you can't really read it. It's kind of jargon, but ours are pretty straightforward, so.
No,
So-
I think we're good.
yeah, I think we're
Okay.
okay.
Well, that was easy enough.
Yeah, I wish it would.
Yeah, it just worked out. I happened to be in the area and had a cancellation, so
Gotcha.
reached out to Sally and said, hey, I could be there if you need me to for questions. So I didn't really bring a formal presentation or, I think, but kind of beat that horse to death already, so.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you, because I know it's been a long process, and we've kind of talked about a couple of things like overtime, and we've settled our own like thoughts and issues amongst committee members, and I appreciate you being here.
Well,
I hope it
you
wasn't too
should.
far of a drive for you.
I cover the state, so I'm on the road all the
Okay.
time, so no problem at all.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very
Thank
much.
you, guys.
Yes, thank you, Matt. Okay. Where do you guys want to go from here then? Do you want to go back up to the draft budget review?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Up, up.
Oh,
With the CIP projects.
oh, we can?
Yeah, we don't know.
Okay. CIP first. Okay. Not sure how we want to go through this other than line by line. I kind of hate to do that. A couple of things to note, line replacement, we had previously, hang on, is that, yeah, that is first. Previously, of course, first of all, let me back up. So we did change, obviously, the electric superintendents this past year. So there's a little bit different thinking in the budgeting. Previously in line replacement, so this is actual electrical line replacement. When they have issues, something breaks, they need to replace a section. Previously, we had budgeted $100,000 every other year. So this puts it back into just every year, but at a lower amount. So the changes for that. Transformers, not a lot of change there. That actually went down a little bit. Same with utility poles. Tree trimming, we had at least 100,000, and I think last year we had 200,000 plugged into that line item. So 45,000 will complete the contract we have with Forester Works currently. So that's why that amount is in there. And then in talking with Brandon, our new superintendent, he feels like our crew can do that. And so this then eliminates the contract with an outside entity. It would create an additional staff position. But one staffer is far less expensive than $200,000 a year for a contractor to do that. And so the idea is it's probably a groundsman position who would work with our tree trimmer, who would be up in the bucket. So,
Do we
And
have the equipment for
yes,
that? Okay, because
Yeah.
I know we have bucket trucks, but I know they'd be in use by,
right. And so we have an older 70-foot bucket truck right now. That's
Right.
what the tree trimming crew uses. And so that's reflected here. Like I said, mid-year, after this contract is completed, then we would look at mid-year point, looking at hiring someone up, and then just doing all of that in-house. And I do think over time, there'll be a significant cost savings for us. Let's see, so we have a service truck replacement that's up in this year's budget. And garage doors, that's actually a carryover from the current year. We didn't get that project completed and don't anticipate having it completed by the end of June. So that's the electric for at least this year. Anyone questions about items on the electric CIP? I know you're just seeing this, my apologies. Let me know when you need me to scroll down some.
You scroll down a little.
Yep. And that gets to the bottom of the electric.
Gotcha.
Other than totals, I think. Yep.
Any questions or concerns?
I do not know.
Okay. And I can click through to the actual project sheets if you guys need me to, so just let me know, okay?
Only if there was a very drastic change, I would say.
No.
But you've already covered.
Yeah. Okay, so then we move into water. Okay, so of course, you see the very first item is the tower maintenance program. With those budget numbers plugged in there. You notice they actually start coming down as we move more into maintenance. Next item, we've had it the last couple years, continue to have the fire hydrant folks come back so that we're maintaining those correctly. This year and the current year, and Steve can correct me if I'm wrong, Steve or Chris, either one, I think we wrap up so that all of our hydrants will have been touched in the last 2 years now and maintained, correct? Okay. And then I believe this year we also have As they wrap up this year, they'll actually be replacing a few hydrants as well. So, because as they've been maintaining, they've been going through and they've been notating for us in our Diamond Maps program, which ones needed further work done on them. And so there's 5 or 6, I think, in the contract this year. And so likely we'll be moving into that a little bit more as we move forward. Steve, am I correct that in the contract for the new tower and well, there was some additional funds and we were going to look at having them use that to replace some hydrants also?
Yes,
Okay,
4 hydrants.
so we'll have a few more replaced with that.
Are they being replaced or rebuilt?
Those ones replaced, right?
We will replace them, and then, when they come back into the yard, we'll inspect them, and then if they're worthy, we've set up now to rebuild them there in the shop.
Nice.
Gotcha.
And test them.
So,
The hydrant maintenance crew will be back this summer to finish painting.
guys, we need you to come up to the mic so that anybody watching can hear you. Sorry, Steve.
Oh, no, it's just yelling from the crowd out here. The fire hydrant maintenance crew will be coming back as well this summer to finish up the painting on the ones that they've done maintenance on. They did roughly 5 rebuilds on them, and then the water tower contract, funding that's left over, they wanted to utilize that on fire hydrants, and we did as well. So 4 new ones is my understanding, and like Chris said, when they come back to the yard, they can make sure they're worthy of hardware-wise of rebuilding them, and then we'll reutilize those as well. So we're making gains on it.
Thank you.
So the next item, the well feed equipment, no change there. This is year 2 of replacing well feed equipment as we work through all 4 of our pre-existing wells. The Roosevelt water line replacement, this is a big project we've been talking about. We were hoping that we'd be able to get it in this coming year's budget, but with the water, especially with the industrial park water tower, and then as well as the rehab of well 6, which is the next line, with both of those being in there, we don't feel like we can add,
3 projects.
another $312,000 into this year's budget. So we're putting that off a year. That'll also give us more time to research grants, and I'll talk a little bit about that here in a minute, okay? So we're pushing that off. The rehab of well 6, and I know Chris is here tonight. He can certainly address this probably better than I can, but we're having more and more issues. We kind of noticed an increase in the use of electricity by this well. And we actually had it tested previously when we had other electric meters tested. And so we tested the meter for it, and the meter was accurate. So then that kind of led to, as Chris was talking with different companies who work on wells, who have worked on for us, and he's consulting other experts, it's kind of an indicator that something's going out with the well, some component is going out in the well. And so we're hoping it makes it to the new budget year. It could go out tomorrow, it could go out next week, next month. I mean, we don't know exactly. Do you want to add more to that, Chris, or do you think that's sufficient?
That's pretty sufficient on it, and it just, we did notice, and Stacy picked it up, there was a few months back that well used a real
Considerable.
higher rate, consumed a real higher rate of electric, and I had all we're under a maintenance program with our wells, so I had all the reports pulled and looked back at the history since the last time anything was actually pulled and replaced in that well, and we could see the deterioration, and we can see since that spike in that electric, it's increased. And so we're hoping, the experts don't even know, you can't see downhole, you don't know which component or components are going bad.
Right.
There's no way of looking at them, but the well is still running fine, still putting out plenty of gallons a minute. And so we're just keeping fingers crossed that the experts say it could be tomorrow, it could be months, it could be another year. It's hard to tell.
Do we have enough in the reserves just in case? I imagine we do, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. So if it does go out and we have crap, hit the fan kind of
Gotcha.
situation.
Of course, with putting it in this next year's budget, if we make it to this coming, to July, then we're, do you know what I
Okay.
mean?
Easy enough then.
Yeah,
And we're into a point where we're not running that well as much. Right now, we're letting it rest as much as we can, and only running it basically when we got a peak demand. With the way we've got our system now, and all of our wells are not having to run as often as they used to. So we're basically using this well just to relieve the other ones from time to time and taking it easy on it as we can.
Okay. Appreciate it.
okay. Yeah, so that is something new that wasn't previously in the CIP. And then the next two items are the city match for grants. So that's the remaining city match amount for the new well and tower as we wrap it up, because it'll carry over into the next budget year. And then same for the lead service line mapping. We've actually been talking with Archer Elgin about that recently. Steve and I have been, and we have I think it's 19 days of, you may remember here, a year or so ago, we had a subcontracted hydrovac crew go through and explore both sides of the meter to determine what the water lines were. We have 19 days of that kind of work still to complete. And so that's the remaining city match for that. Okay. And then everything else are projects that are farther out. Okay.
Any questions?
No, on the CIP. I think that's,
Okay.
I'm happy with it.
Okay. And you notice, yeah, the Roosevelt water line, that's the top one showing on the screen right now. And then further down, 1, 2, 3, 4 down is Mildred. That would be the next one. And then a couple lines below that is East Center, a couple more lines West Center, and then Carty Street. Those are ones we had kind of spec'd out. So even though that takes us beyond the scope of the 5-year plan, we want to keep them as placeholders, kind of reminders that this is what we're looking at. Okay, so we're ready to move on to wastewater? Okay. Okay, wastewater is really short and sweet. Here you go, there's the entirety of it. So we had been, the last few years, budgeting 100,000 a year under line replacement or relining. I believe we actually ended up pulling from this line for the 9th Street sewer line when that emergency happened, we needed to replace. So it's still serving that purpose. And so Chris hasn't seen this yet, so my apologies, Chris. Trying to get these, we've talked in the past about trying to get those totals at the bottom to kind of, as much as possible, be somewhere in the same ballpark so we're not jumping rates up and down. We had 200 plugged in there. You'll notice the next year, those top two lines, first one is line replacement, second one's line replacement or relining grant matches. So that starts getting into the Roosevelt projects and those street projects. That's the potential grant match. The two of those lines combined are 200,000.
Okay.
Does that make sense? That's kind of the goal. But we reduced it for this first year when we saw we were putting off Roosevelt, again, to kind of keep those numbers so we don't have to jack rates up.
Gotcha.
Okay?
Did we complete all of our FY26 CIP goals? Because one of the ones I was curious about, I know we were trying to, with the wastewater ones, was
Just a
a
second.
line going through,
Was what?
the line
Oops.
going through Bone Break Center, that area?
Oh, no, we don't have engineering done. So
Okay.
that project went completely on hold
Okay,
with the housing development.
gotcha.
So their funding is supposed to close in September.
Okay,
So when that closes, then we'll get Archer Elgin going on that, because we already have a task order with them for it. We get them going on that design and completing and
Okay.
get that moving.
you probably said that, it just
No, that's
been
fine.
a while since I've
I get
heard
it.
about it.
I get it. So no, that's not moving. So we do have that. So we have, and forgive me, it's very small here. Oh, no, that's too large.
6 million.
So we have both the Bone Break Center and the Franklin and Hickory Street sewer
Oh,
line
I see.
replacement
Yeah, okay,
they're actually COP funded, that are not moving yet, but we hope to have within this next year.
okay.
Okay. So back to,
So we still had those, so those are in the prior year funds right now, like the budget line?
yes, they will be
Okay.
moved into prior year. Well, no, they're going to be in this budget.
Okay.
We'll
that
keep,
was-
we'll get to it. We got more to go.
Okay.
We still have
sorry,
the grant and debt funding.
Jumping the gun here. then.
Yes. All right, so moving down this list, wastewater treatment plant upgrades 2A, so that's our remaining portion. Again, with all the change orders we've had lately, that's kind of up to that number. Then telescoping valves, we had this in last year for replacement of these for this year. Okay, that's at the treatment plant. Then, as we move down, okay, so these projects, this is either the grant portion of projects we've already looked at, or some of them are entirely grant or debt funded. That's what this section is. So we've got the new well and tower, this is the grant amount remaining. Lead service line mapping that we already talked about, the grant amount remaining. Wastewater treatment plant Phase 2A upgrades, that's our grant amount remaining. This next line, wastewater treatment plant upgrades, this is the bond, so Phase 2B. So we've got that broken into a couple years. We don't know exactly how that's going to fall dollar-wise, what happens in the next year following the one, or the one after that. So this next line, line 57 here, this is the emerging contaminants
Yeah.
grant, the sludge removal grant, that's a 100% grant that we are receiving,
Nice.
or, yeah. It's not officially awarded, but we've been notified, so, and we're gathering documents to submit for it. So, and then we have the Bone Break Center. Okay, so that will just roll forward,
Gotcha.
as well as the Franklin. Then, as we move down, you'll see these that say CDAP. That CDAP is it's a grant, and forgive me, I don't remember exactly what that acronym stands for. It's through the Delta Regional Authority, specifically for infrastructure upgrades. And so we're looking at that grant to assist with those street projects when we get to them. Okay, so those are new on the CIP this year. Okay. And then that concludes.
I know it's a lot of information.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at like, the first 2 years, we got 4.7 and 5.0
Right.
and then 0.26.
Yeah.
Well, but also.
I get it. It's just how
Right.
things shake
And,
out.
and we had a large amount of grants from the whole ARPA.
Right.
Era. And so as we wrap those projects up, yes. And the other thing is, just like the emerging contaminants, I mean, we're looking for and at other grants. So
Right.
some of that will fill in as we move forward.
Yeah.
Um,
No,
Yeah. I actually had MPUA, and I haven't had a chance to dig into it yet, reach out earlier this week about a grant for lead service line replacement.
yeah,
So,
I'm not going to fault you for looking for
no,
grants.
no.
and
Yeah, that's
finding
really.
grants for our city. Like that's
Right.
I just thought it
But I
was-
just wanted you to know,
Yeah.
there are others we're still
Okay.
looking at and actively pursuing, so. Okay. Any questions on CIP? Anything you want to go back and look at? No? Okay. You're not even going to make us flip through project tabs. Wow.
Well, as we get closer on some of them, I'm sure.
Gotcha.
No,
a
like
lot.
when the actual it's time to spend the money, but we're planning right now, and
Right.
it's a good thing to see versus like what we have
Right.
2-3 years ago.
Right.
It's-
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot more lined out, and
Well, we just started 2 or 3 years ago.
I
yeah.
know.
So, yeah. And it's getting more fleshed out each year. It
Yeah.
really is, so. Okay.
We're getting to become more proactive instead of reactive.
The-
and
Yes.
Hopefully that's gonna save us some heartache later on.
Yeah. That's the goal. Yes?
I don't know when this is dealing with the lead service line stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and I know we're more talking about CIP right now, but I did see a notice
Well,
in the
but that's on
newspaper.
here.
Okay, do you have the thing anything?
A notice in the newspaper?
Yeah, there was a notice in the newspaper on the 20th.
Okay. Was that posted with our water quality report?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was just it was a lot of info that I
It
was
is.
reading, and
It
it
is.
sounded like it was just a notification
It is.
thing versus any sort of actual
So we had
contaminant.
a violation.
Yeah.
So this goes back to the fall of '24.
Yep.
So October 16th of '24 was the first deadline for us to have a percentage of our water lines investigated.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was when that summer, we'd had that hydrovac truck come and do the excavation on both sides of the
Right.
meters. So we submitted that on time. What we missed was we were supposed to have notified all residents within 30 days.
Oh, okay.
And so we missed that. They were notified within 60 days. Okay? But because we didn't meet the 30 days, it's
Yeah.
considered a violation. So there was nothing about contamination, it's just we didn't meet the notification requirements.
Okay.
So the remedy to that is that we had to post that notice in the paper. It's on the bulletin board in our office, it's on our
Okay.
website, and then that takes care of that.
Yeah, I just thought it was, because I was reading through it and I saw it was odd that it was like 2024, 2025
Yes.
stuff
Yes.
posted now, and I was
Yeah.
confused by it.
Yeah, we
And
just
we haven't
got
had
the
a meeting to-
letter,
yeah.
because we got a letter from EPA a month and a half ago
Okay,
about it, so, and then that was the remedy, that we
okay.
post that violation with our water quality report, so. And of course, the water quality report, as usual, had no issues, no,
Yeah.
so, okay.
Okay. I was just curious because I was reading through that and I was like, what is going on here?
Right.
Like, why are we reporting something that
Right.
was 2 years ago?
Yeah. And I'll be honest, trying to get those letters out, because we're required, every city is, we're required to send a letter to every customer, every customer whose pipes are unknown, are lead, or are galvanized.
Yeah, I remember the process that we had to go through. We
Right.
were asking people to check them and how to
Yes.
check them and everything else.
Yes.
It was a definite process.
And so we have to track that every year, and until those pipes are known, and that they're known not to be lead or galvanized, we have to send a letter every year to infinity.
Cool.
Yeah, no, it's not, but that's the requirement right now.
Okay.
So hopefully, as we do, this next round of the investigations, in talking with Archer Eldon, we're actually going to try to target part of town where we know there's probably lead lines, so that we know where to start replacing,
Right.
so, as we start
Okay.
moving forward. Okay.
Thanks for that
Absolutely.
side quest.
Nope. Anything else?
Nope, that was the main one I had.
Okay. So to the budget now?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Back to, what page do I need to be on? 2. Okay, Stacy.
Okay, so this is a high-level look at the electric fund. On total kilowatt hours sold, we are up slightly from prior year at 42,900,000 kilowatt hours. It equates to about almost 6 million in electric sales revenues. And then purchase of power, we're up around 11% at 4.3 million, and that is due to the winter storm burn that we had. If you remember, we had an electric bill that was like $960,000,
Yep.
which was way more than normal. And then the section below there just breaks out the residential, commercial, and demand customers. So do you have any questions on that slide?
Thanks for adding the average kilowatt per meter. That's a neat
Gotcha.
statistic.
And it kind of proves out, I don't know if you remember when we did our rate study for electric last year?
Yeah, it was pretty close.
Yeah, it was like 910 kilowatts was
Yeah.
considered the average, yeah, so.
Yeah, I was curious what our numbers would say versus,
But again, this includes Winter Storm Fern, so it's,
Right.
right.
Yeah,
Okay.
It'll probably fluctuate every year depending
yeah.
on how hot the summers are and how
Right.
cold the winters get.
yes. Okay. Ready to move on?
Okay, and then this slide will highlight the changes between the current fiscal year budget and the draft budget for the upcoming year. And we'll kind of discuss these as we look at the next slide, but these are an overall look to look back up on. Yeah, go to the next slide and we'll kind of look at them as we go down. Okay, so for the
What?
current, so,
Here you go.
right,
Any questions? No.
Yes, I do have one.
Yes.
before we
Looking-
start.
I know it's preliminary to tell, but with, right off the bat, first line sales tax, You're showing 21 over, right? And I saw the justification for that, but at the same time, I'm also seeing the projected year end as well as a general uptick in the trend. So 244, 286, then,
Yeah, I under budgeted for this year.
yeah, I think it's, personally, I think it might, but,
The county had actually increased their sales tax in '25, I think.
Yes.
yeah,
And so this is a carryover for that,
yeah.
yeah.
I'm just saying that, like, you know, if we're projecting about 325 and it's been going up every year, if we were budgeting for 300 versus the 325 that we're,
Oh, that we're budgeting less?
I think we're budgeting
still too
I think
low?
we're too low on that.
We may be, yeah.
Because if you're looking at 325 projected year end, you're projecting, and for budgeting 308,
Yeah, it may still.
and we don't know what's going to happen with the state taxes either yet.
I know,
So
I know.
that's another, that brings that into question anyways of what's happening, so.
And I don't, yeah. And most likely, depending on what happens with taxes,
It'll be-
it won't hit this budget year.
Yeah, I was gonna
most
say, it'll
likely.
be delayed
Right.
or something, so I'm not too worried about that, but it's one of those things, I think we're a little low because 244, you see a 40% or 40,000 increase.
Right.
And then you see about another 40,000 increase. You know,
Gotcha.
you might go to 350.
Yeah, we probably could increase it some
And then-
anyway.
That's,
Maybe to at least
but,
project.
but also the projected year end, you know, you get the sales taxes from what's sold, right? So.
Yeah.
The winter storm Fern.
Right, exactly.
Is another
That
thing.
could be
So
an
that could
impact.
be, you know.
Yeah.
But I would at least budget 325, if not a little higher. But yeah, I guess one of the things I was like, kind of like, was all of the the projected ones were down, like or not the projected ones, but the budgeted ones were lower on the revenues,
Gotcha.
but higher on the expenditures, so I'm a little like, okay.
But at the same time, I know Stacy and I, we have this conversation almost every year. We do project a slight decrease in sales,
Right.
because that's been our trend.
Yeah, you can see it in the.
Yeah, that the amount of kilowatt
yeah, the
hours
amount
we
of
sell
sold.
slowly.
Yeah, slowly
Yes.
trickles down, so.
Yes.
No, I understand the justification there. I was just, I was like, uh-oh, when I saw that.
Okay.
So we're projecting this year revenues to be at 7.5 million and expenditures to be about 6.7 million. And then, which actually comes to a surplus of 784,000, but then we have other sources, that's a
Right.
revenue coming in. The board approved that 230 to pull from reserves to cover the high electric bill that we have from MPUA. And then the other uses, that's an expense, so that's a transfer going to the DNR fund, which is the replacement fund, which covers all the CIP and then,
Right.
yeah, the replacement, vehicle replacements. And then we have the 5% transfer going to the general fund.
Right.
So we're projecting to end the year at about 68,000 surplus. And then looking at the draft budget, we're projecting around 7 million in revenues, almost 7.1. And
Gotcha.
then
Back up.
expenditures at 6.3 million. Well, then we've got other uses, which is, again, the expense is 803,000, and that's to cover the vehicle replacement fund and then the CIP that Sally had already talked about. And again, the 5% going to the general fund, which is 335. So we're looking at a surplus of $500, as it is. But we can go over some of the highlights. So again,
Moving
that,
on. Oh, you're going to go back. Okay. Do
yeah.
you want me to move back there?
Well, we can leave it on this slide.
Okay.
So, yeah, the charges for services on the revenue side, sales, I'm decreasing a little bit, about 41,000, because we do see a constant decline, as we already talked about. Charges for service is down slightly
Right here.
on the revenue side. Credit card processing fees decreased to 16,000. We no longer are charging processing fees when they pay by credit card in the office. And then on the miscellaneous revenue, that 13,000 is due to one-time revenue proceeds that we received.
So
And
can I
then-
add something real quick?
Yeah.
So we have a question for you that came up in the office the other day. I just want to get thoughts on the credit card processing fees. So, we previously, I guess my first year in this role, we were covering all of the credit card processing fees, and we're not passing anything on to customers. Then we changed that and decided to pass those on to customers. Then with the most recent changes in the laws around those credit cards, we're not charging a fee in the office, but there is a convenience fee for web payments online or the automated phone pay. So in conversations at the city managers conference I was at recently, there were several of us kind of talking about this. And I wanted to just throw out there, if we would like to encourage customers to use those remote payment options, do we want to eliminate and cover the cost of those credit card fees for web and phone payments? And if so, it's about, we did the math just quickly the other day, it's about $24,000 a year. But again, just keep that in mind as we're working through the budget and are talking about rates later. So I'm not looking for an answer right now, just something to consider,
Right.
okay?
I think more people would be inclined to do the remote
Makes
side.
it easier for us too. If they pay
yeah.
online.
Yeah, but you see, we've got
Yeah.
a surplus of $500.
Yeah, so it'd be
Yep.
negative
It would.
$23,500
Yep.
approximately.
So I mean, again, there's pros and cons, so, okay? And like I said, I really do say reserve judgment till we look at rates. Okay,
It's like-
sorry, wanted to interject that.
But yeah, you probably don't have it off the top of your head. You know what we pay for the web portal? Like how much is it for a year of having that availability?
Well, that's part of the Acceleron contract,
Right.
so
That's what
we're paying $2,000 a month plus the processing fees.
What was it?
$2,000 a month plus the processing fees. So I don't have that number off the top of my
Yeah.
head.
So like 24,000 there of how much it cost.
thinking it was
That's
more
that's
than
the
that,
number you
maybe.
guys are probably going through. As I was
Yeah,
gonna
I'm
say,
not
that
sure.
we can't
Because
accept.
we had like 280 last month who paid online.
Okay,
Online or phone pay. I know, and if, again, if we want to encourage that,
yeah,
then that's a consideration we need to think about, so,
okay.
okay.
Okay, and then looking at expenditures and the major changes. So you'll see that personnel expense total increasing a lot, 136,000. That's due to, we do have plugged in a 3% mix between merit and COLA, if approved. And then part of that is, last year, Sally we did a pay scale
scale
true up
adjustment.
to kind of an adjustment.
So that only hit half of the current year, so this hits a full year,
Yeah.
Okay,
okay?
And then, as Sally mentioned before, we're requesting an additional
Right.
employee to do that tree trimming.
yeah,
So we would cut out that expense and have the personnel
Right.
expense, which won't be anywhere near.
Right.
And that includes
contractor.
with the insurance, retirement, everything.
All right. And then looking at supplies, it's increasing almost 12,000. That's additional chemicals and additional tools for advanced line work. The maintenance is actually decreasing almost 91,000, and that's to eliminate that third-party tree trimmer trimming expense. And then general liability insurance, it goes up every year. And then sales tax payable, that increases, that offsets that revenue line. So we have that revenue, but the.
Is that in the miscellaneous?
They're saying, yeah, it's under miscellaneous.
Okay,
And then, under that also, we have safety and training, it increases. We do have 2 guys in school, plus extra safety gear and training gear. Special services is increasing quite a bit, I think around 41,000 to replace complex poles. Some of our poles, we have to hire a third-party contractor to help remove those poles. So we've upped that line so that we can get some of those complex poles replaced.
okay.
What's defined as a complex pole?
do you have that, Steve? We'll defer to Steve.
Okay.
Well, that's not a straight pole with a crossing.
You're
Probably
talking,
the weird ones.
There might be a little more to that, yeah.
talking three-phase banks, stuff like that where you've got a lot of heavy-duty transformer platforms or feeder lines that we don't want to shut down, and maybe the guys are going to work on it hot. We have the third-party contractor come in, and he keeps things safe on the ground with the secondary truck. They can hold 2 poles at the same time. Our digger truck, we have 1 digger truck, we can hold 1 pole. So it gets a little hairy. So basically, you're just, when you see your hairiest poles in town, it's those guys. Stuff that supports US foods that you just can't, sorry.
The weird ones.
The weird ones.
I just thought I'd ask.
Yeah, no, and then, yeah, Brandon finds more poles the more he's moving around and taking and replacing these others, so it's imperative, so.
Awesome. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, also in that miscellaneous line is wearing apparel. We've increased it quite a bit, about 15,000, to upgrade the FR clothing for our guys. They need upgraded.
I do have one question about the complex poles thing. Is that gonna be an ongoing thing? We're gonna probably put that in every year? Or is that like
I would say it's probably every year for
Or
the
is it gonna-
foreseeable future.
okay,
I mean, at some point in the future, we would get most of them replaced and be in better shape. But I would, is that correct, Steve? That it's probably going to be in every year?
I
for-
just wanted Steve to get up.
You just
really.
wanted him to get up again? Okay.
We had a review of our system done, and a lot of systems hover around 50% as far as, remember when they checked our whole system to
Yeah.
see where we were at replacement-wise and, you know, stuff that's deteriorated. And we were above normal. So we'll be doing this for a little, I can't give you a specific
that's
year or
fine.
two.
I was just
but
wondering if
for-
this was like going to be a fluctuation thing where it's like we're replacing a bunch this year and then it's 20,000 next year and then it's 30,000 and then it's
Oh.
0 and then it's 50,000, that kind of thing.
I would
Or if it was
expect,
like a,
I would expect to be tackling this for the next 3 to 4 years.
Okay.
Minimum, so until we get a good handle on it, so. Brandon's really energetic and got the crew really going, so we're getting after it.
Steve, what's the lifespan on one of those poles? What do you say? I'm just rough guess.
It, you know, depending on if we put it in concrete, if we put it in a bog area, you know, your max is typically 50 years, but you know, you start 40 if it's in a
In a
concrete
wet.
spot where it's taking on a lot of water.
Oh.
And then if it's out in the mud in a low spot, you know, less than that, so.
Okay.
Brandon goes around and basically, he's sending me photos all the time of these that are pretty rotten, so I've got a pretty good photo collage going on, so. Yeah,
I love it.
we'll get it though.
okay, yeah, I was just curious on that.
Right. And again, just for those who might be watching this at home or later, all the details for all of these items that we're going over on this sheet are in the sheets that follow. So they're broken out in more detail. So,
Yep. And then you'll notice the utilities line, the purchase of power will decrease significantly, around 62,000, and that's the savings for the relief payments. They will finally be completed after 5 years. That's from the February 2021 major event that we had. Well, hopefully, in the future, we'll be in a better place and not have to take out a 5-year loan.
Right.
So, any questions? Like Sally said, all the details within each line is in the next several slides.
You good?
I'm good.
Okay. Where do you want to go from here?
Oh, do you want to look at the electric DNR fund, I guess?
Electric DNR fund? Okay. One of these days I'll learn I need to mark that page. There we go.
Okay, any questions on the electric DNR fund? This is just the replacement fund, so everything in here is the capital improvements that we've already discussed or that's already on the plan. We're projecting to end this budget year at 229,000 within, and then for the draft budget at 105,000. 5,000. If you scroll down just a little bit, you'll see the fund balance totals. So we'll end the draft budget year, go over one, at 602,000.
The draft budget.
Well, that will be in our replacement fund. So that will help, with the purchases of equipment, and
Yeah.
I think we've got a bucket truck or something on
A
next.
couple years out, yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be a big chunk to come out. Ready to move on?
Yeah.
Okay, go to the next slide. Okay, and this just lumps all three funds together, where the top section is where we projected in the budget year, which is at almost 3.4 million, that's the electric operating fund, the DNR fund, and the reserve fund. So we started at 3.5, and then we'll end around 3.4. And then the bottom section is based upon what's in the budget. So again, we'll start the year at 3.4 million and end at almost 3.7 million. So if you can see, our electric reserve fund will be at almost 1.5 million, which our goal is right around that amount. 25% of the previous expenditures is what makes up that goal.
Do we have plans for that extra 300,000, like of the all-in total there?
Which,
Is that,
where do you see 300,000?
so when I'm looking at total all funds of the electric there, the draft budgeted, the revenues and expenditures, right? You said it was, we're looking to the projected
So
balance
an
for.
increase overall fund balance, is that what you're
Yeah,
looking
when
at?
you're looking at, 3.5 mil, or 3.3,
Well, the replacement
3
fund is going up a little bit, almost
Yeah.
100,000. The electric reserve fund is going from 1.3 up to
okay,
almost
so,
1.5.
that's where
Yeah.
it's getting stacked in. Okay, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep,
That's what I was,
for future purposes
I
and future emergencies.
gotcha.
That's- Yep.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Okay.
I was off.
Nope, you're fine. You good?
I'm good.
Okay. Where are we
Okay,
going?
moving on to the water fund. Again, this is just the overall high-level view of the water fund. On water, the gallons sold, we're actually down slightly
Since
from last
year-to-date.
year, actually quite a bit, 103 million versus last year, this time of the year was at 105 million. Equates to revenues of 968,000, and then water revenues collected is around 911,000. And again, below breaks out residential versus commercial.
Yeah, I like the averages added in on this.
Yeah.
It's interesting that for residential, that's even lower than what we'd projected previously. We were projecting about 4,000 a month for residential, so.
I don't know if it skews it some. We have several that shows a lot of zero, which they should be getting the 200, the minimum, I guess. Is it 200? Do we have a million minimum on?
On water, no.
We
only on
don't. So
electric.
there are several that we bill zero because they're not there or whatever. So I think it's skewed a little bit based upon we have several.
Skewed down some.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's probably not skewed too terribly much if you've got, unless you have like 400 meters at zero or
Well,
something.
not quite that many.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, we'll be close to that, so.
Yeah.
3,500 realistically, maybe.
Probably.
Probably.
Is there a way for us to remove the zeros out when you average it, or is that not?
I could, yeah. Just an extra reporting, but
Be an Excel.
It's just more time.
it's just extra reporting, it's fine.
It's another Saturday. I'm kidding.
If it was as easy as a click, I'd say, let's see that.
Okay.
You good?
I'm good.
Okay. Okay, again, this slide just shows the budget highlights between the current fiscal year and the next budget year. We'll kind of talk about these as we look at the next slide again.
Okay. Oh, the font keeps getting smaller, Stacy.
Okay, so
Oh, come on. Does it fit?
Yeah, you're
Just.
good.
So we're projecting revenues of 1.5 million, and water revenues at around 961,000, leaving a surplus of 3,000. We do have, okay, because we did plan on doing the water tower painting in this budget year, so that's why they, yeah, so we're moving 502,000 to the DNR fund. That was to cover the water tower, which we're putting out
This
here.
right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
But still, with that transfer into the DNR fund, leaves us at 3,000. So looking at the draft budget, revenues are 1.3 million, with expenditures right around $1 million. And then with that transfer, with all the CIP, it's 837,000 that would be transferring. Plus, there is like 100,000 of vehicle replacements that we're putting back also. So leaves a deficit of 546,000. So something we'll have to talk about. So some major changes to the revenue. There's not a whole lot, I don't believe, but not much change in revenues other than the reserves from prior year. That's what, that 183,000. That's what we have budgeted for this year. We took 183,000 of the prior year funds, which is
Right.
actually going to the,
If you remember that conversation last year when we were talking about rates, you guys chose to kind of split the difference, raise the rates to a certain point, and pulled the remainder from prior year funds, so.
so that's what that change in revenue is. We, at this point, don't have anything earmarked in that line item. And then expenditures, again, around $1 million. Oh, we already talked about that.
Right.
So on expense side, the personnel changes, we're actually increasing around 22,000. That's that 3% merit and COLA. And then again, the pay scale true up half a year. And then we have a retirement happening. So we're looking at a pretty big payout on his accrual. If you accrue vacation and sick time, that's paid out when you leave. That's actually split between water and sewer, because he's paid out of both. And then on office supplies, it is increasing $7,700. That's for additional postage
Oh,
and
yes.
ongoing lead service line mailings, billing forms, and then on miscellaneous general liability insurance, like again, it goes up every year. And then special services is increasing $2,100 due to the SCADA system updates. And that's all I have, if you guys have any questions. Again, the details on the next several slides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So under this, it says AMI meter upgrades under the maintenance side. And it's looking like it was 15,000 for that. Sorry, scroll down.
Under expenditures,
So.
that's reserves, or revenues, right?
Now go down to expenses.
Yeah, I know, that's what I said, this is revenues. Okay.
A little bit more. So down here at the bottom, AMI meter upgrades. The 15,000 there, what is that for?
That's when we have to buy new water meters, the AMI meters, or
Yeah.
the modules.
So just to have a couple more on the shelf in the event of an issue.
Right. We've had some larger meters over the past year, some big 2-inch meters that we've had to replace. So, yeah, that's what that's for.
And do we have a cycle on those of like, hey, they're expected to last approximately this long, then you start swapping them out?
Chris?
No, you're good. I got one after this one, so.
We should be getting according to the data and everything that we've been told before, we should be getting 20 years out of these meters. And some of these bigger meters, they have the capability of having the dials and stuff changed on them. And we've already had to do that with a couple. And as far as the bodies like the old meters, where the actual impellers and everything wore out and stuff, these using more of a magnetic field, you get a longer life out of them and everything. And the biggest concern with them is the battery life. And we're making drastic gains on that by finding out some things about it. And yeah, the around a 20-year time when everything gets all settled out and we get it lined out like we want it.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Maybe don't go too far. I was gonna ask, one thing. Should we increase the utilities line? On
what?
the expenditures for the water side? Because we have a new, we have the new pump, we have the new tower, and we have the lights on the tower to consider.
Oh, okay, so you're talking about the utilities.
Yeah, I'm
that
talking
water
about the
department
utilities on the
uses.
water, on the, that are being used with water. Because it looks like it went pretty flat. And if we've got a whole new water tower and pump
Right.
and lights on said tower, we might want to take a
That's a
look
good
at
point.
There we go.
increasing it a little bit.
Okay.
And we
So
can
you're talking about-
probably use the industrial drive one as a close reference as far as the utilization of utilities. The only difference would be the lights.
It's not
Yeah.
lit and there's no well there,
Yeah.
Gotcha.
so that's not going to be a real good, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just something to consider when we,
Gotcha.
I'm not looking to add expenses, obviously. It's
No.
just, I also don't
No,
want to come
I
in
sh-
low.
No, that's the kind of stuff we need,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that we'd look to you guys to help us. So that's going to be,
Yeah, utilities, electric, it was like, you have
yeah,
150, across the board basically, except for
right,
2024, 2025 actual was low,
yep.
which is odd.
And 24 was high.
Oh, gotcha.
2024
The
was high.
154 and then
Yeah.
91 and then,
I'm not sure.
And we're at
Gotcha.
81 so far, projected to,
year-to-date, but projected
yeah,
year-end
that's
is
probably gonna be a little
154.
low.
Projected may actually. go
That may be a
lower.
little high on the
Yeah,
projected
yeah.
side.
Yeah, because we only got 2 months left.
Yeah.
So we may have that built in already.
Yeah, that
Without-
may be okay then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I mean, if you even check the,
So let's think like, we're all 80% of the way through, 80%, 84% of the year through, we're at 81%. The rest of the 20 is probably going to get you to about 92, 94,
Gotcha.
somewhere around there. Having it at 154, if you're adding in all that stuff, that's even
Should-
probably high.
It may be.
I think we're okay then. It's just strange when you're looking at the 2023, 2024 actual. I wonder what the deal was with it being high there. If that was,
Yeah, I don't know.
okay.
Was that-
I'd rather
was
budget
that the
high on the
year-
expenses and then come in low.
yeah,
Was that the year the well was struck by lightning?
23, 24?
So I don't know. I don't know that that would have contributed. I just, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Okay. Move on the DNR fund.
Okay.
Other than that, I think I'm okay.
Okay, then just a look at the DNR fund. We're projecting almost 2 million in revenues, and that's grants. That's probably going to change. I'm not sure how we're going to end the fiscal year with our grant numbers. But I know it is going to be lower than what we actually budgeted. So around 2 million I'm projecting, and then on expenses, same, about 2 million. We did, like I said, we had that water tower painting in the budget. So we're actually going to come in at a surplus of 466,000 for this year based
Okay.
upon revenues and
split,
expenditures. So can offset some for this upcoming budget year. And then looking at the draft budget on this slide, we're looking at 1.2 million in revenues, and again, that's part of the grant. Almost all of it's the grant. And then your expenditures, that's all the CIP stuff that Sally had already discussed. So coming in at 1.9 million, and then the transfer from the operating fund of 837,000 brings us to 126, almost 127,000.
Surplus.
Yeah. Which we want that to be a
Right.
surplus because we're wanting to build that.
Yeah.
Right.
If you look at the next slide, it kind of gives you overall of all three funds again. You kind of see what they all look like together. So we started this budget year at almost 2 million. We're going to end at 2.3 million.
Right.
And then, of course, we'll start the next budget year at 2.3 million. And then if we pull all those CIP out of there, we're looking at 1.9 million. Something to think about, I mentioned this to Sally, what we started this fiscal year at 1.9 million, we're not a whole lot less ending the next budget year, because we did increase the rates this year. to
In
kind of
anticipation
offset
of the
Right.
industrial park tower, right.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. Oh, the fun one.
that. Sewer.
Yay.
Okay, looking at the sewer fund, we are up on gallons sold. We're almost at 97 million gallons, where last year it was 96 million. And then sales revenue is 1.3 million. And then we've collected almost a little under 1.3 million. Then again, residential and commercial down below. Any questions? Good.
No, I just. I know you keep looking at me. 47 is a high bill for an average in general.
47?
Yeah, when you look at the average, because you have the average usage for sewer,
Right.
and we are high. I know why we're high, I just
Right.
don't like that word.
Gotcha, gotcha.
And so
I know- When you
that's
said
why
that, I'm like, no,
furrowing
it's
my
not, that is
eyebrows.
average, but no, I.
That's why
I
I'm
know what you're
furrowing
saying.
my eyebrows, 'cause I'm like,
Gotcha. Yep, I get it. Okay.
Again, this just highlights the differences in the two budgets. We'll skip to the next
Who's your
slide.
.2 staff person?
What? Oh,
4.2 staff people?
well, we split people between departments.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's our new cost-saving mechanism.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are projecting to end this year at 1.6 million in revenues, with expenditures at almost 1.2. And then we have other uses, that's an expense. So we have 145,000 going to the reserve fund. And then the DNR, sewer DNR fund is 54,000. And then we thought we was gonna have SRF loan payments, so we were transferring funds to our debt service fund, which leaves a surplus of 206,000. And then on the budgeted numbers, revenues around 1.6 million, with expenditures at 1.4, leaving a surplus of 7,000. So, kind of looking over the major changes is the personnel expense. We're looking at a 27,000 increase. Again, that's the merit and COLA, 3% that we have plugged in. And then we are now fully staffed for a full year. And then that retirement payout that we'll be looking at. And then on their supplies increase, around $22,000 due to chemicals for the sludge. We're going to have increased costs with the new plant. I'm sure next year we'll see even a higher increase in those costs. We'll have an increase in postage and utility forms. Most of that was just taken out of the electric fund, so we are splitting that. It needs to be split between all three utility funds because the postage is for all utilities along with the utility forms that we have to purchase. And then under miscellaneous, general insurance and fuel is increasing. The fuel is increasing almost 5,000 due to increased cost for the generator, to run the generator. And questions?
Yeah, do you have any good news?
Sewer, no.
Okay,
Sewer is, yeah, doom and gloom,
okay.
yeah.
Questions? You've already expended your one question on it.
I mean, luckily, we're showing a surplus.
Right?
Yeah, I was happy to see that.
A year or
It's
two
just
ago, we had
very,
it 0
like, mhm.
is what we approved, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to pull, yeah, with this, technically, we shouldn't have to pull from prior year or anything to cover. And don't give me that face. Like,
You know, we'll be looking at, we will be looking at the SRF. We should be maybe anticipating closing the end of this year. I don't expect to see large loan payment due in this upcoming fiscal year, but the next one we'll start seeing, I think maybe like 150,000. So it's going to be quite a bit.
okay.
So, yeah. Okay.
Moving?
I don't have any.
Okay.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I did throw the sewer fund reserve. Oh, I'm sorry, you're not there.
No. Takes me a minute to get through all your slides. There's the DNR fund. Are we talking about it
Oh,
or
yeah,
no?
yes, we can. So DNR fund, again, it's just the grant. We're looking at ending this fiscal year at 4.2 million. Go over one.
Oh,
Yeah.
here. Gotcha.
Again, that's probably going to change. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to end. And then your expenses at 4 million. Yeah, leaving a surplus of 123,000.
Right.
And then we're projecting for the draft budget, revenues of 2.3 million. That's mostly the grants. And then your expenditures. We didn't have a lot of CIP, so a lot of that is just the grant funding. And then we have, I can't even see that.
What? What are you looking for?
Oh, other sources, we have 182,000.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so leaving a surplus of 46,000. And if, yeah, go to the next slide. I did put the sewer reserve fund on here because it actually had activity where the other two funds didn't have any activity, so I didn't put them on the board. But on revenues for this budget year, we're looking at projecting of 382,000. That is because we have received FEMA payments.
Right.
And then expenditures are only going to be 94,000, and that leaves a surplus of 432,000, almost 433,000. But in the draft budget, we're only going to see revenues of 4,000. We're going to have a FEMA expense come out of around 199,000. So we're going to show 195,000 deficit.
Oops. Right.
But my suggestion is we just pull from prior year funds since we receive the revenues in this budget year. It's just going to carry over to next fiscal year. Kyle, you got
Okay.
something?
That's why you were giving me that look.
Thoughts, comments?
No.
You look like you have something you want to say.
No, I just,
Yeah, it looks pretty gnarly when you start having,
yeah, it's just the same thing we said last year. It's like, we can't do this all the time. And it's like, oh, we're going to,
Kind of going right back to that.
yeah, and it's like, there's, But-
Well, but with, especially with the flood disaster recovery, I mean, that's,
Right.
Right.
I get it.
Yeah.
That's-
it's not a lot else we can do.
Yeah.
So,
That's why we have it there. It's just.
right,
Yeah, just got to build it back.
right. Well, and similar to when, with Winter Storm Fern, thank God we have it.
Yeah.
So,
Better than paying interest on
yes.
Yeah.
loans.
Okay.
Okay, so we started this budget year at 872,000 between all funds, and then we ended the year at 1.4 million. Then we're looking at starting the budget year 1.4 million and ending at almost 1.3. That's because we would be pulling that prior year funds to pay that FEMA bill of almost 200,000.
Good.
Yeah, I'm all right.
Two more slides. This is just an overall look of the debt that the utility funds have. If you look at the very last column, we're looking at with the SRF funding that we'll be hitting, we're looking at
Right.
9 million in debt for the
Right.
utilities.
So that's the SRF funding right here.
Yeah. And then if you look, just up above that a little bit, the COP funding, that's 3.6 million.
Right.
So that's been
Right.
going on for a while now. Yeah, it's a lot.
And this series, this one is the interim bond, correct?
Yeah,
Okay. The 400,000? Because we needed an interim bond to cover those expenditures we're incurring for Phase 2B until the actual bond closed.
Gotcha.
okay, and then go to the next slide. The last slide I have is a good one. What would we do without all these grants?
Right.
We've got 13 million in grants. So that was definitely a big help. And out of that 13 million, the city's only had to pay 208,000. So that's good.
Yeah, that's serious number.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that it?
That's all I have.
I'll see you ended on a good note.
I
That's,
know.
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm all right.
okay.
He's good.
Okay. So where are we moving to now?
I'm doing math.
You're good.
Yeah. Right, but we can talk about it. Okay, so that's page 67. Okay, so one of the things that, so this is changing to utility meter testing. One of the things that I know I discussed with, I don't know if we've discussed it in a utility committee meeting in the past. I've discussed with some of you individually. We've talked about it among staff. You know, given the climate right now in our community where there's a lot of doubt, and there has been for the past several years, about the accuracy of our system, of our meters, we spoke with Advanced Meter Services, is the company who had come and tested some meters like we've previously spoken about. And we actually spoke with them about the idea of maybe having them come once a year for a few years and just test X number of meters, just to help kind of put to rest any concerns. Or if, in all honesty, if there were inaccuracies, so that we knew about them and can correct them. And so I wanted to throw this out here. This is the quote that we got from the company. Obviously, you see this was dated last October. And so, like I said, I don't think this needs a ton of discussion, but let me come here. So it's all the details about the company itself, the plan. So CT rated are more commercial, larger electric meters. So they also put out a printed written report at the end with graphs telling us, you know, what they found. So here's what we were looking at. 25 commercial meters, they price them per meter. That's how they normally price them. Since we've had them here for just a few meters at a time, it hasn't been per meter. It's this much for us to come there for the day. So 25 commercial meters at $160 a day, or each. Self-contained, those are the smaller residential meters. 285 of those at $28 each. And so the total was just under 12,000. Now granted, this was back in October, but then there's some assumptions. The utility will provide seals, rings, required keys, all of that. And that the city will also provide site information, including meter forms, serial numbers, multipliers, customer name, all of that, that they need to test it. So I just wanted to throw that out there for conversation, see what you guys' thoughts were. Obviously, you can't make a recommendation tonight, but see if you guys had questions, or questions if we can't answer as staff, maybe we can get back with the company and just get your thoughts.
So my thought on this was, yeah.
Again, this would be an additional cost, not currently in the budget.
I plugged that
Oh, you did plug it in. Okay, so it is plugged into the budget for electric.
So my thought on this was eventually, given the opportunity of anybody that had questions or concerns about their own, a meter being on their residence and or their commercial business that they're operating out of, to have them afforded the opportunity to come to the office or request to be like, hey, can we be one of the individuals that
Included.
would get tested for this if this
Right.
came to fruition? And then if, let's say 7 residential units, a couple commercial, at that point, anybody else, if, when it came time to test, is potentially try doing it by,
Just a random selection?
yeah,
or-
just either a random selection or doing it by street.
Oh.
And that way you know, like, hey, we've already checked these, and here are all the people that were in question. That way you can keep going down that path of like, hey.
Would you
these-
want to do by street, though? Because that almost implies that we plan to cover the entire town. Before we're done.
So-
Do you see what I'm saying?
I got you.
Street at a time.
Are these moving around at all, or like, are they just, like, what, so there's 285, so it's about 10% of them, right?
Sure.
Uh,
Yeah.
You know, 10% of the meters or something around there. Are they just gonna be on those for, like, the whole, like, so you get them installed, you check them, or, this is an audit service of sort.
I'm not
What
sure
am I
what
trying
you're-
to say?
I don't know.
So this is, because this is checking the meters, right? Double
Yeah,
checking?
testing the meters.
Yeah, testing the meters.
Yes, per ACS standards,
Oh, so, okay.
so.
So I think this would be a good service for everybody that has questions or concerns regarding the
Right.
actual meters themselves.
Right,
If I was having complications, I'd be like, hey, I know you guys have this coming up.
Right.
Gotta be put on. And that is something that I would get the results back as well, right? Or could request.
I would think they'd have to be able to, but we'd have to talk with the company about that, about getting individual meter results.
Right. Well, the result you would get is if there was an issue, they would let you know. But
Right.
basically, it's mobile. Truck goes along. Truck has the $30,000 piece of metrology equipment. They pop the meter out of your
Yeah.
service.
And they
pop
do it
in.
live, they
Okay,
don't
so they-
disconnect you while they're doing it, they do it live.
Gotcha, I see what this is now.
Yeah, so they go to the site, test your meter, and they move to the next.
I was,
Excuse me.
yeah, when I saw installation services, that's what was confusing. I was like, are we adding that
Oh,
onto
gotcha.
their, like,
No.
onto 10 meters
No,
and,
no.
just double checking them? It was, that was the question I was.
Sorry.
So you're testing, yeah, so it's like a mobile test that doesn't,
Yes.
that moves, so nothing's getting installed to those 10 meters.
correct,
I get it.
correct.
That's why I was like, are we putting those on something for like an X amount of time, then
No.
taking it off
No.
is what I was thinking it was happening. I get it. Yeah, that makes more
Gotcha.
sense for it.
So like I said, this was just a thought that we as staff come up with as a way to hopefully maybe put to rest, or if there is an issue, expose it, so that we can address it,
Yeah,
so. I mean, I'll put my neck out there and I'll say, it. I don't think we have issues with our meters.
yeah.
I just, what I've seen, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, like, unless, so they're gonna come and test, and it's probably gonna be like a week or something, or they're gonna come in all at once, or is it gonna be?
I think it'd be all at once. Steve? They'd come do these all at once
Yes.
in one
Yeah.
trip? Yeah.
Cause
However
like,
long.
cause if somebody's, if something spikes,
Right.
and they use the, and it's, they're probably gonna blame the meter anyways, and they could be on it for the next time, but, I don't think showing them, oh, well, we don't have a problem with 10% of the other meters that we tested,
But
It is a point of data that,
But it depends on how many
certifies
years
what we
we want to include this.
have. Right,
So I mean, that's,
I understand. Okay, I'm just,
I mean, it is costly as well.
right.
So, I mean, affording it and seeing what kind of traction it gets this first year, see how many people want to reach out and opt into this program and try to get theirs tested. And then if there's not a lot of interest in it, then maybe not continuing it. If
Gotcha.
there is a lot of interest, maybe that's a discussion for a later time to continue on every other year or
Right.
whatever.
And, I mean, if, you know, the board chooses to move forward with this included in the budget, we do it, I mean, we'll be able to report back, you know, how many people signed up, how many, yeah,
Right,
so,
okay.
okay. Okay, so we had on here discussion of replenishment of the reserve funds. So I don't have a slide or anything for that, but, you know, as we know, due to Winter Storm Fern, we pulled from our emergency reserve funds to cover that large bill. And so then the question is, you know, our goal in our fund balance policy is that that reserve fund be 25% of the previous year's operating expenditures. So, do we have numbers in here? No, we don't. Okay. About, you know, in order to get our reserve fund back to that goal, how do we want to approach that? So I know there've been a couple different things thrown out. One of them was that the 2021 amount that we were paying extra, 19, almost 20,000 a month, maybe we just put that back in there. There's pros and cons. The pro being that, okay, we've had that expenditure all along, it's really not going to be a huge impact to us. The con being it will take us more than a year to replenish that reserve fund. And while, you know, we went from 21 until 26 between major events like that, that's not a guarantee.
Yeah.
You know, as we know, we're seeing natural storms and events more often. So that's the risk if we go that route. So I just wanted to open it up and see how you all wanted to address.
that would be my initial, is just keep on with that. I don't think, you know, because we also didn't deplete the entirety of the reserve fund
Correct.
either, so we still have some reserve fund in there. That would be my initial go-to for it.
Yeah, 240,000 a year approximately. Once it's paid for, which I believe is in July, is when it's finished.
June.
And then
June.
oh,
June, so
June.
this
June.
budget
Our
year.
last
Yeah,
completes.
okay. So then every month following that 20,000 that we usually use for that payment would be going towards that. Now, you
Well,
know,
that's already out of the budget, so it would add another 240,000 to the budget, which would put us negative 240,000.
So that's part of why we need to have this
Yeah.
discussion. Do you want me to go back to the electric budget?
Yes.
yes, please.
Okay.
So you were saying it was out of the 20,000 that we were paying is out of the budget?
Yeah, she didn't include that in because we don't have a decision or.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
So here, first slide? Okay. So,
Yeah, so you took that.
so we have $500, okay, to the good. So if we take another 240,000 out of that, do you see what I mean? We'd
Well,
be,
put that $500 in there.
so,
It's
yeah,
gonna take a little bit to build that up.
it will. 500 a
So
year,
We
yeah.
do have 1.5 million in the reserve fund.
Right.
But in this operating fund, if you look at the fund balance, we do have almost
Where's-
1.6 million in the
Right.
operating fund
That's
also.
this number down here.
Yes.
At the bottom. That's what's in our prior year fund balance, basically.
Yes.
So I mean,
Yeah,
that's an option,
so-
is that we pull from that prior year fund balance to replenish the reserve fund.
Yeah, but the prior year fund balances was initially for, you know, that was supposed to be earmarked for stuff.
No?
Well,
Okay.
it's expenditures that would, maybe they didn't
That they
use
didn't- yeah.
prior, in
Right.
prior years. It's
Yes.
So
what's
I
built
just
up
wanted to
over
make sure
several
that,
years.
you know, that there's no earmarked funds in that are,
No.
you know, so
Prior
if we're
year
at
fund
1.6,
balance,
if we have that 1.6,
Yeah.
yeah, I think.
yeah, prior year fund balance just ends up being
That's a
money
lot
out
of-
of successive budget years that
Yeah,
doesn't get
savings,
spent.
yeah.
So,
That's a
So-
lot in that balance.
So I mean,
I think it's not gonna miss much on 240,000.
right,
You're bringing it to 1.4.
so,
Yeah, we could move however much you and the board approves for us to move out of
move a
this
million.
operating fund to the reserve fund.
so that's,
I'm
yeah.
just kidding.
And so that way, because if we try to, I mean, if we don't do that, then our options are, we're negative 240,000,
Yeah, we have to.
and then rates
We gotta do
are the
something.
next,
Yeah, it's-
yes. And I would rather, sorry, we not do that,
I would too.
so. So anyway,
That's unfortunate.
so that's staff's recommendation. Okay.
Okay.
And again, that money is not earmarked for anything,
What if
it's
we cut maintenance entirely?
cut maintenance.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, okay.
It's about 226 there? Like, is that what it
We'll
says?
tell Brandon cut his maintenance.
Yeah, there you go.
Maintenance jobs really easy. Don't do them.
Don't replace any more poles.
That's an
Don't do
option.
any
I
more-
just wouldn't recommend it.
Right, exactly. Okay. Any
I
other
don't
questions?
think we'd be able to find 240 in the expenditures
Yeah.
that we could cut.
No. I mean, we can cut utilities.
I think prior year is basically like the best option.
Do you have anything else to add to that?
I don't want to add any kind of other things.
So, okay. You guys have any other questions?
How much is it for?
Shall we move on?
You good? Or are you okay with the information you've received?
I'm okay.
He's processing.
I'm processing certain things.
Okay.
But I'm okay with that.
Should we move here then? Okay. Right here. All right. Are we ready to play with numbers? No. And what's, oh, no, this way. How do I hide my ribbon?
I might go to the other side of the table.
That's fine. Go ahead.
So,
Take your chair.
yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'll take my chair so I can see, because this isn't on my phone.
No, no, this is not in your packet because it's an interactive. Okay, so this is water. So this is the one, again, where we kind of play with. So on the left-hand side, you can't really see it, but kind of the pink bar across the top is the current rate structure. Okay. On the, the left-hand side, on the right-hand side, kind of blue header, is proposed. So right now they're the same, but this is where we can play with numbers, and we can plug in different amounts for actual rates. Sorry, it's not all displaying on the screen, so forgive me. But we can play with the base rate as well as the kilowatt hour rate. They're in the yellow?
There's the
Oh.
deficit. Oh, boy.
Yeah, sorry.
That's the. It wasn't Excel. You needed to go to the
Yeah,
Microsoft Edge.
great. Well, now I probably just closed the whole thing. There it is.
No, it's there.
Okay. So, so right now, what did
Around
deficit? 546? In electric.
No, that's not electric, it's water.
That's
This is water. Okay, that's what, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm confused myself here. So this is water, deficit of 546 as it stands right now if we keep the same rate structure. Okay? Now, again, last year on water, what the board recommend, or what committee recommended, board approved, you guys kind of split the difference in what it took to get us to a balanced budget. You raised rates partway, and then you pulled from prior year funds. So Stacy has over here on the far right side, projected beginning fund balance, 2 million, almost 2.1 million. Draft budget is 1.6 as it stands right now. So really, you've got the 1.6 to play with, if you're going to consider pulling from prior year funds. Okay, and so, in case you guys are wondering, so as we work with these base rate and volume rate, this down here will calculate what that per month is for
Yeah.
4,000 and 4,500 gallons. Okay, so you can see in real time what that's doing. I feel like we need Jeopardy music.
The same thing as before, we can't always keep pulling from prior years, because eventually we'll get back to zero again.
Right. Right.
Here, you want me to start the ball? Let's go with, what does 10 look like for minimum base rate?
That doesn't move the needle.
Not much. About 50,000.
So can we see what it would look like? Set the base rate back to 8.
Back to 8,
Yeah.
okay?
I just want to see how drastic of a change this would be for the
Put the $8.
750.
Yeah, put the volume rate at $8.
Yeah.
Put the what?
Volume rate
Eight?
at $8.
Okay. I mean, it's a little more.
Yeah.
So should it be more based off of what you use, paying more, or objectively everybody sharing in the base rate as far as,
That's
The
the
velvet.
philosophical question.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
because realistically, like, you could probably change that base rate to something exotic like 20, but
Go to,
Do you want to see what that does?
why not?
I mean, we
for
can
fun.
humor it, but
Yeah. Yep.
yeah.
Go to 10 minimum base rate, 9 volume rate.
10 and 9, okay.
Yeah.
Hang on.
I
I'm gonna
yeah.
pull up one of the other slides real quick. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Okay, so looking at the average bill for approximately the 3,200 gallons was $33. So if we were to change the,
No. Go ahead, yeah.
so if we're gonna consider changing one or the other, or a mixture of both, the base rate going up from $8 to anything close to the 20 mark, which helps fill that void drastically. I mean, you're talking about, on that one, a $12 difference in somebody's average bill. And that would be changing from $33 approximately to $45. And that's not including the volume rate. What does 15 look like there with the 9?
15 instead of 9?
15 as the base rate,
Oh.
and then 9 as the volume.
Okay. I mean, that more than gets you halfway, depending on what you guys are thinking. And no matter, it's going to be painful, but understand that some of these expenditures, especially when we start talking about our tower maintenance and stuff, will start coming back down after this year. So, It's not a guarantee that, do you know what I mean, it'll move this
Right.
needle, but it's,
So I'm not-
Do 12 for the base rate and 10 for the volume rate.
Twelve is, so I did a local water rate study of my own.
okay?
Taking a look, Washington, Missouri, service fee is $7. St. James has a $12.45.
Oh, you're talking base rates.
Talking base rates here. Ozark has $12.05. Kabul has $20. Hannibal has $26, and St. Charles has $15.
Wow.
So those are what you're typically looking for. 12 is kind of kind of an average. I only did 7 other cities.
Gotcha.
So
You know,
what is
versus-
their volume rate?
Our volume rates are lower, Hannibal being the highest, but their volume rates usually run around 5. However, a lot of them are starting to raise their rates because
Right.
they're trying to, I know Licking just put in a water tower like last year, and I think they're raising their water rates as well. I don't have their numbers in here, though.
I have noticed for the last several years, oddly, we seem to be like the ones who lead that, which is not a position I'm,
Say what?
we seem to be the, when it comes to raising those rates, we seem to be just a little bit ahead of the ones around us. Not exactly, I don't want to be number one in that, but
No.
I have noticed
But
other
a
cities.
lot of them are playing catch-up when they're
Yes,
doing
that's
that.
exactly what's going on. It's
You know,
exactly what's going
they'd
on.
spend a year being in a deficit, then they'd cover it with prior year
Yes.
funds or something, then they're like, we have to do something
Yes.
now.
Yes,
Versus we're trying to be a little bit proactive.
correct, and
like
that's,
you were
that's a
saying.
very different perspective, yes.
Yeah. I mean, with that number there, having,
Go, you first.
so my thought here is, you know, if we're somewhere in the ballpark here, $12 for the base rate, $10 for the volume rate, you know, covering a $131,000 deficit out of prior year, and with the future of potentially the prices of our water tower system going down, maybe more feasible to go that route than it is to try to clear it all in one whack and then later having to do a major adjustment back down.
Right, so I'm going to go back to our proposed capital improvement plan. Oops, sorry. So this is our, so right here, these totals in this line, so you see this is the proposed, the
Yep.
upcoming that we're looking at, and see those start coming down.
Yeah.
So that's a $200,000 difference.
Yes.
In 27 and 28.
Yep.
It does raise up between 28 and 29.
Yeah, but not, to me, that's a much easier, do
It's
you know what I
not
mean?
$200,000.
Right,
Right.
right.
But I mean, if you look further on down the line,
Right, now,
31.
I will be honest, though, 31, that is the East Center Street project. Total cost for that, we're gonna have to break that into phases. It's, that number can't stand, we won't be able to afford it,
gotcha.
so.
That's huge all in one year.
Because, yeah, replacement of sewer lines is as costly, if not more so than water lines. And so,
Okay.
this entire project, this is half of it.
Right.
The other half of that Center Street would be on 32. So we're going to have to break that into more phases, just realistically.
And we can't make any kind of decision here because we're not a quorum.
Right,
But
right.
my thought personally is that's about, I don't want to raise them too much higher than that. And then I'm happier pulling a little bit of prior year funds out, 'cause that's like, what, 10%, less than 10% of our prior year funds? For something like that, like, that's not as bad.
Well, and understanding that part of what's in prior year funds too is that excess money we have from this budget year when we were anticipating doing the tower this year.
Yeah.
So that's some of that.
Yeah, average says down there it's gonna be 57, when I did the calculation against what our average usage was, at three and a half.
Right.
You know, it was about 47. Still, you know, a
Yeah,
good
it's-
amount higher than what we had,
$14 difference in the average,
Right.
but still,
but
that's all. I mean, you have to cover it somehow, so
Okay.
that would be my thought.
yeah. I mean, we can't make a recommendation, but.
Right, but at least you're thinking of this moment is the $12 base rate, the $10 volume rate, and then pull the remaining 131,000 from prior year funds. Okay,
Yep.
we got that.
Unless anybody else has any ideas.
Okay. Well, you may want to come back around because we still got sewer to do. The fun continues.
I'm just gonna go home,
No, need you.
I understand.
making us the bad.
Okay, so same thing. What's over here? Oh, this is for future years? Okay. All right. So, do we?
Like that better. Like 7 times.
For a second there, I thought it said 7 million. I was like, oh dear.
No, I like that way
No,
better.
yeah, 7,000 is a bit different.
7,000 surplus at that.
So, no rate adjustments?
I mean, you can show them what next budget year might look like. With the,
Shut
Do you
up.
want to leave depressed?
Yeah, I would like to just not change rates at some point.
Yeah.
Okay,
This would be fine.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I was
I thought
anticipating
you had,
having to change.
I was like, I thought you were gonna have way more bad news for a
So
second.
we're looking at staff recommendation of not changing electric rates? Oh, wait, no, changing electric rates. If we follow the proposed rates from the rate study,
oh, yeah, we'll have to look at that next meeting. then.
next meeting, yes. So we'll be looking at electric rates next meeting in June. Yeah.
Yay.
Sorry, but no, because if you remember right, and so we won't go deep dive into this, but when we had the rate study done, their recommendation was, it was kind of a resetting of our rates. So if we followed that, and we'll look at all the numbers, but that recommendation was that, so this last year, even with the addition of a service availability fee on our electric, because it had been gone, when we added that back and reduced the volume rate, it was still a reduction for residential of like 0.02%. It wasn't huge, but it was a reduction. So the recommendation would be for year two to do the same thing. It would increase that service availability fee some more, lower the kilowatt hour rate, and the overall effect is a reduction again. And so that's what that does for residential. But anyway, okay.
Kyle doesn't like service availability, they do, Kyle.
John Hambacker rubbed off on me, all right?
Gotcha.
Let's go talk about,
Okay,
let's
so.
go talk about water
code
line
amendments?
inlets, sizes.
Huh? No, let's
No,
not talk
please.
about those, sorry. All right, so code amendments.
That's,
What?
that was mean.
Okay.
I'm sorry, John.
Okay, so we need to do some cleanup of our code. This is a section, this is the staff summaries for 2 code amendments. It deals with backflow. So the city does not install, inspect, or test backflow devices. We have not for years, okay? And Chris caught in our codes that there is, it actually says that we do. And so we need to correct that. And
Yeah, I thought
so
we did have something there.
here is the correction. You see the strikeout line?
Yeah.
That fixes it. Shall be installed at the customer's expense, because that's the reality. Okay, so that's the section 705.260, and then there's another one, as soon as I get there. This is section 705.280. And then you'll see the strike through in the addition here that corrects that. So pretty minimal as far as the verbiage change. Okay. Do you want to talk about this next one, Stacy? The royalty service line? Remember Okay, so at our last utility committee meeting, we had spoken with you all about the service line program and that it had generated royalties of roughly 6,500. So that was an error that they later let us know. It's generated royalties of about 1,400. So a big difference there. We had kind of mentioned to you all at the last meeting, maybe looking, if it was 6,500, doing some type of a rebate program or considering something like that, encouraging conservation. But 1,400 is not enough to do something like that with. And so anyway, we just wanted to share that, that's the reality when they got back with us with that correction. So, which we were thinking it was high at the time anyway. Okay, so financial updates we covered already in the budget review, unless you guys have any questions on all of that we've covered. Shannon, do you have billing updates?
So the only thing I have is that we mailed out 2,257 bills this last billing, and then we put out 424 emailed bills to customers.
Okay. And then MPUA meeting notes, I have the notes in your packet. I'm not going to go over them. In that packet, you'll see a lot of our discussions right now evolve around the construction of new generation facilities that MPUA is investing in on our and other cities' behalves who are members. So as those projects move forward, it's really updates on it, looking at financing, trying to flesh out portions of the integrated resource plan. So the resources being, where does our power come from? Is it coal? Is it natural gas? Is it solar, wind? Whatever that might be. So some of the things, some of the discussion that was had a little more heavily at this last meeting and will be continuing. So the conversation of data centers, okay, so I just want to put it out there right now. We've not been approached by a data center, so before that rumor starts, we'll just squash that. But for those of us who are members of MPUA, when you think about that MPUA is on our behalf incurring debt, investing in the construction of these new generation facilities, and that's based on our current load for electricity and a mild growth, do you know what I mean, kind of organic growth, then should a data center approach any of our member cities, that really throws a kink in things. Because these projects, to get permitted and constructed, which are millions and tens of millions of dollars sometimes, and that take multiple years to get permitted and then constructed, really throws a kink in things. If a data center, who is a very large user, like most of them, even the smaller ones, would be larger users than our entire town. And so that would really throw a wrench in the works. So they are working on developing some type of policy around how we would handle that as a pool, as a power pool, should that situation come up. So I don't know exactly what that's going to look like yet. They are asking us that if we have any major housing developments going in or any major growth or a business locates or something, to let them know as soon as possible so that they can shift gears accordingly. So anyway, that's something that's one of the newer topics for us. Okay. And I think that's all I have on that. So, you want to move on to work reports? Steve? Are you still with us? Okay.
He's getting his steps in today.
Well, I know Nathan's been here for most all the reports that I give at the Alderman meetings, and Kyle, I can fill you in. We've been replacing a whole lot of poles. Actually, I'll start out with the wastewater treatment plant. I'd just like to repeat.
Poles?
What's that?
Complex poles?
Some, yeah.
Just kidding.
The wastewater treatment plant, though, just want to celebrate that one more time about the grant, about the biosolids that have been sitting out there. That was a huge, I can't even say how huge. We were really worried about how we were going to get rid of that over time. So anyway.
Yeah, and this grant should take care of everything we have on the yard,
Awesome.
so.
Huge. The plant's healthy. Obviously, we're transitioning into the portion of Phase 2A where we're going to draw down the oxidation ditch. I call it the poop track out there. That draw it down and pump that into the overflow reservoir, aerate it over there while they put in the new rotors in the oxidation ditch. So closing in on finishing up Phase 2A, and then we'll be looking at putting Phase 2B out to bid. here
We hope
eventually.
this early fall, late summer, we hope. No promises, but we hope.
Yeah, but things are going smooth. Mid-State Pipeline's doing a great job out there. And then you weren't here for Alderman meetings where we discussed, we've had some extra expenses incurred raising a few panels that were not identified when Phase 2A was put in motion because the flood hadn't happened. So we had come and asked for funds for that and making upgrades that'll help us, help everyone once we're gone down the road. So we're still working to get clarifier number 3 up. Clarifier number 3 had a failure in it and dropped all of the hardware down. Gear
bottom of
has
it.
to be replaced. We have the gear and we've got, we're waiting on a third quote or third bid / quote on getting that repair done because it's something we can't do in-house. So, but we did get a fairly low quote, so we're hopeful. So get that going. Water department, new water tower progress. Obviously, you've seen that. There was some drone footage of that circulated around. They're mobilizing the paint crews, and I'm thinking by mid-June we should see some color. We're picking right now which angle that the logo and the lighting will go on it. That turned out to be pretty limited to the actual air evac route, which was my goal in the first place. It's good to have the power run up it because I've been approached about one of the cell companies wanting to put more antennas on our tower next to Walmart, and I've started initiating conversations with them on what that entails. But down the road, having power up on that tower out there will be beneficial when folks want to pay us to put antenna packages on it. So, and down the road, had a helicopter, evac helicopter, somehow had a scrape with that water tower. I wouldn't want our names on it and it not to be lit and give everybody a safe chance at, not having that happen. So, let's see, second UV portion out there, UV treatment is up. The UV treatment that we put in for Phase 2A is up and running and working. I'm sorry, I shifted back to wastewater. Water tower, yay. I don't know if you said in any of the meetings where we talked about winning Missouri Rural Water's Water System of the Year award. You probably saw that circulating. Kudos to the water guys again. Several water service lines have been repaired, water main repairs, and sewer and water line installs. The guys are really cutting down their list. So, electric department, we're somewhere over 20 poles that we've gotten stabbed in since Brandon came in as superintendent. What I really like about having Brandon Schmidt on the team is he's teaching the guys. He's really he takes it serious, bringing the apprenticeship guys along. I wished I had a early on photo of the yard over there, the water and electric yard, because these guys, along with electric, have transformed that yard. Looks great, and they've really Brandon can't sit still, so he's got his guys. It was a rainy day, and they decided not to stab a pole just due to inclement weather. They went over to, if you're going down MacArthur, right before you get to the hard 90, if you look over on your right there across from the body shop, there was an overgrown sidewalk. And that's a MoDOT thing, and no offense, I don't want to drag MoDOT, but I had been on them about, hey, this needs cleaned up, and they just hadn't got to their mowing season yet. And Brandon went down there with his crew and You should see it. Shaved it down, took care of it, sidewalks great. He's just not, the shop's not going to sit still. And it's a great thing, so.
I appreciate the sidewalk cleaning. I saw it when I was walking here, so.
Right.
I utilized that sidewalk. It was nice.
Right.
I know it was overgrown before, so.
And in all the departments, we're ramping up, summer and cleanup projects like that, but I just want to give them kudos. They received their new truck, loaded it up, and began using it citywide. They put another truck that was on the ready line to be let go. They put it back to, into service because we've got a strong team and we needed the truck to continue the work that we're getting done. So that's electric, water, and wastewater. Nothing really exciting outside of that to report. Did you have any questions?
Don't look at me. I don't have any questions.
I did want to say on the meter testing, advanced meter, Jeff Marsh that comes out of Kentucky. Kentucky certain states have more stringent rules on the state forcing them to test meters, right? Missouri doesn't have that. Jeff's equipment is tested. He's held to a high standard because he's out doing these meter tests, and he came over here and he's looked at our meters. Brandon has a lot of experience with the meters. These meters work. They're accurate. When they're not working, they die off. They don't ramp.
They either work or they don't.
Yeah, they don't. You don't have incidents across the board of out of control meters reporting excessive usage. That's not how it works. And then along with the water meters, I've seen in my 2 years, one water meter that registered out of whack. And by out of whack, I mean 1,500 gallons a minute. So we knew.
So not even physically possible.
Yeah, I was like, that's crazy.
Right. If we have a water meter failure, Mach 10 water meter failure, it's a fogged glass. It quits working altogether, type of thing.
Or it's been
So
physically damaged in some way.
there's just, in the public, there seems like there's a real distrust, and the meters function the way the meters are supposed to. So I just wanted to put that piece out there.
Yeah.
So, do you have any questions?
No, sir.
I do not.
Thank you.
Roger that. Thanks.
Do we want to go ahead and look at the current CIP?
Sure.
Okay. Okay. So we kind of started to look at this earlier. Let's see if I can enlarge this a little. So, oops. So again, this is just for utilities. So, yeah, this first column, the red at the top, it's our current year. As you look at that, we had, so you see when we were talking about tree trimming, we had 150,000 in the current budget year, 200 budgeted for this upcoming year. So that's down to 45 and then done. So significant savings over time to taking that in-house. Trying to see where else there was, we did purchase that new bucket truck like Steve spoke about this year, so that's done. Line replacement, we changed that from 100,000 every other year to 70,000 each year. Garage doors we're carrying over. Pole bunks got done this year. So that's, a quick rundown on electric, kind of where we're at. Water, so fire hydrant rehab, we had 20,000 in the current budget year. And then moving forward, 15,000. Well feed equipment, this current year was the first year of replacing all four, the well feed equipment for all four wells. You see where we had the industrial park water tower rehab. And yes, that price went up, but I'll be honest, the very first time I remember hearing about this before stepping into this role, it was 350,000. So it's just one of the, price goes up over time the longer you delay these projects. And then of course the new well and tower and lead service line mapping. So yeah, those haven't changed much. Then wastewater, again, I'd mentioned we had 100,000, we've kind of upping that moving forward in there. And again, 2A upgrades, telescoping valves, those are rolling over, aren't they? The telescoping valves, yeah. And then, the grant and bond amounts. So, If you guys have any questions, we can collectively do our best to address them.
I couldn't imagine where we'd be at without the grants.
Oh, yeah,
That,
yeah. It's helped us kind of slingshot our community forward significantly for our utilities, especially our water and sewer. So, yep. Okay. I think that is all we have then.
that's all we got.
Okay. Well,
Thanks.
thanks for listening to all of that.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
It's super fun.
Okay.
Same time next 2 months.
Yeah, in June, June 10th, I
June
believe, is our next, our regularly scheduled meeting, so,
Awesome.
Okay.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
thank you.
Thank you guys for coming out and taking the time.
And Matt, thank you for staying and listening to all of that
Yeah.
painful information. I expected you to take off. Okay. This shut down.